Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for logging on to this webinar. This is the second webinar hosted by the Belize Hotel Association in collaboration with Blazing.com. My name is Angela, and I'll be your host along with Alicia from the Belize Hotel Association. Today's topic is a crash course in SEO by Mr. Alan Myers from Pinnacle Marketing. But before we start with the presentation, I'd like to pass it on to Alicia for some announcements. And if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to send them to the chat and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us this morning. This is just a gentle reminder that we still have our 10% early bird discount going on. It is valid until May the 15th, so you can click on the offer link that's displaying to send in your renewal application. Alan, I want to welcome you this morning, and we look forward to an amazing presentation.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be asked to talk to the Belize Hotel Association, and I'm going to get started. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself first. We've been in business since 2002. When we started positioning websites in the search engines, Alta Vista was the big search engine. Google wasn't that big of a deal at that time. We are a Google partner. I'm also on the board of directors of the Better Business Bureau in Ottawa, and our work primarily is advertising management, search engine optimization, and technical website improvements. So the BHA office said this was the questions that we should answer, and I thought that was a pretty good description. What is SEO and why does it matter? Which strategy is going to work for your business? We're going to talk about content, and we're going to talk about relevance and the content and how it's relevant. And we're going to talk about page authority and SEO best practices. In fact, there's a list of actions that you are going to be able to take that you can download on a sheet. So download from a file at the end of this session. My goals for this session are, I want to simplify a complicated subject. I want to eliminate some myths, and I want to give you some actions that you can take that are going to make your website a little bit better in the search engines. So let's start with, what is SEO? Search engine optimization is getting your website to appear in the search results. So someone types in a keyword, they're going to find the advertising at the top of the page, but then there's the SEO stuff, the map search results or the organic search results that come below that. Getting your website higher in those search results is going to make a lot of difference to your business. Why does it matter? Well, these are typically the SEO goals most businesses have when they start into this. They want to rank in organic search like we just showed in the last slide. They want to rank in map search as well, because both of those are going to increase the amount of website traffic that they get. Once you have more website traffic, you definitely want to engage the people that are coming to your website and not have them just go away. You want to be able to build domain equity, because you can change your website, but as long as your domain stays the same, all your resources are attached to your domain, and that's you can change websites and still do well in the search results. And of course, everybody wants to increase the number of leads that they have. That's what the primary purpose of all this is. I just want to talk about one myth. The one that comes up most often in our work is that people think that you can just put a whole bunch of keywords on a page and that'll get your website close to the top of the results. That's not true. The keywords will determine which search has your website come up in it, but it's the off-page factors like links and that sort of thing that are going to get you to the top of the search results. So how does SEO work? Well, there are over 200 signals in Google. We're just going to talk about the big four here in a sort of a general way. One of them is technical. If your website isn't technically perfect, it could be holding you back. The other one is content. The whole reason that search engines exist is to organize content on the internet. So you got to have some content in your website. The links are very important. As getting links on other websites to point to your website. So when someone's on another website, they click a link, it takes them to your website. That's what you need. And citations are relatively new. That's a helpful in the map search results. So when a citation is just a mention of your name, your business name, your address, and your phone number on some other website. It doesn't have to have a link. So we'll look through these in a little bit more detail. A technical audit is really a great way to start with your website. So there's all kinds of little technical information that you need to know about, like does it have an XML sitemap so Google can find all your pages? Does it have a robot.txt file to save Google some trouble? Does it have broken links? Those sorts of things. There's a lot of technical information. To find the technical information, one thing that I could recommend is an app called Screaming Frog. It's a free tool. You can get it at screamingfrog.co.uk. Another one is Google Search Console. It's not as good as it used to be, but that's also a free tool. And Bing Webmaster also has a free tool that you can add your website to, and it will help you check through it to see if there's any issues. Another big factor is content. It starts with keyword research, and the ideal is to have your website become a resource, which means you would have comprehensive content, every aspect covered, every question that you can imagine your guests would ever ask is covered on there. A resource website is favored by Google, which means you will get better search engine position. You can use Google's keyword tool to get started if you're looking for keywords. So keywords and optimization, a website does not, the search results don't show websites, they show individual web pages. Each page should be optimized for one keyword. The number one mistake that we see people make is that they have one page and they try to optimize it for 4 or 5 or 2 keywords, that instead of getting more traffic, they end up getting less. The best keywords are the ones that offer low competition and a lot of traffic, but those are pretty hard to find. So when you optimize for a keyword, make sure it's one page at a time. So one keyword equals one article equals one page. When you're talking about keywords, there's 2 types. There's the head keyword, which is a general high traffic keyword. I'm going to give you an example in a minute. And a long tail keyword is way less traffic, but way more specific. So each of those have a purpose. The intent of the keyword is vital to think about. Some are for just general information, some are for sales. Imagine an example where someone is using the keyword Alaska fishing. Now that could be anybody. It could be a researcher, it could be an elementary student, it could be somebody that wants to go fishing in Alaska. It could be almost anything, but that's a very high traffic keyword. Now, if you compare that to another keyword like Fairbanks, Alaska, grayling fishing guides, that's a very, very specific, it's called a long tail keyword. It's perfect for advertising. It's very specific. It means that you can guess the intent of somebody is that whoever typed that in is probably looking for a grayling fishing guide in Fairbanks, Alaska. So it's not general at all. The strategy for using your keywords is to use advertising and your website together. Your website could be used for general keywords and try to engage that traffic. And one way people do that is you have a lot of general traffic coming to your website. Try to offer something of value in exchange for getting an email address, because once you get an email address, you can market directly to that person. You don't have to sort of wait and hope. Any specific keywords, though, specific sales keywords are great for AdWords. They work hand in hand. Another one of the top factors is links to your website. So a link is an inbound link. So it's on another website. There's somebody that links to your website. It's like a vote or a referral. Everybody's familiar with Facebook likes. This is like This is the same as Facebook likes, except it's been around much longer than Facebook. So also, if it's a very high authority website that links to you, you get a great boost for that. Imagine if your business was featured on the front page of the home page of the New York Times website with a link to your website. You'd get a ton of traffic and a ton of credibility from that. Your website would be boosted in the search engines dramatically. So one way to get links to your website is to find out who links to your competitors' websites and see if you could get a link to your website from that same website. So if you can get a link from the same sources as your competitors, that's a good thing. You can also ask your suppliers for links. You might be able to get a link from a guest posting. If you're a good writer, write an article, post it on a travel website, and have a link to your website in it. Or the BHA blog has such an opportunity for you. I would strongly recommend that you create an article, post it on the BHA blog, and have a link. Make sure it links back to your website. One thing though, make sure you vary the anchor text if you're doing a lot of these articles. Don't have it all say the same thing. Another one of the top factors is citations. A citation is a mention of your business name, address, and phone number on another website. You can find your own citations or your competitors' citations on a website called whitespark.ca. It's a fairly valuable resource. Again, this is in the document that you can download at the end of this session. Citation consistency is incredibly valuable and very, very important. You wouldn't think that it would be, but it is. So as a business goes on over the years, they often change locations, they often change phone numbers, sometimes the business name changes. Any of those changes are all probably leaving a trail of addresses and phone numbers out there that are no longer relevant. It's a good idea to do searches for your old phone numbers, your old addresses, your old business names, and see what you come up with. If you find any errors, see if you can change those on any of the websites that you find that on. Try to make all of your information across the entire internet as consistent as you can. So the actions that you could take to build citations are find your competitors' citations resources and duplicate that. You could fix every known error that you can find across the internet where your name, address, or phone number is wrong. Plus, you might be able to get your webmaster to code your name, address, and phone number on your own site using code recommended at schema.org, which is a specific type of coding. Code your address using that kind of code, and that's going to help Google. One of the top factors not mentioned before is speed of your website. How long does it take your website to download? The trend lately in new websites we've been noticing is for websites to be big, bloated, and take a very, very long time to download. I don't know why that trend is existing, but it's getting worse and worse. A fast website is going to convert more visitors into sales than a slow website. Now, here's a study that Walmart did. It was a few years ago, but it still gives you an idea of how important this is. For every 1 second improvement in the download speed of Walmart's website, they experienced up to a 2% increase in conversions. That's gigantic. That's millions of dollars in Walmart's case. For every 1/10 of a second that they were able to improve it, their incremental revenue grew by up to 1%. That again is millions of dollars of difference just for 1/10 of a second. So we have a new client. This is one of the worst I've ever seen. We're about to start working with a website that when I first went to it, my browser timed out 2 times. It took 108 seconds to download that website. There's diminishing marginal returns though when you're increasing the speed of a website. To get it from 108 seconds down to 50 seconds or 20 seconds is, relatively speaking, an easy task. It's probably going to take one person a few hours, and they could substantially improve that website speed. But if you got a website that downloads in 1 second and you want to take it to half a second, that's very, very difficult. That might take a team of people working several days to make that kind of an increase. So it can get expensive, but there is a point at which, at the very start, you're going to gain a lot. At the very end, you're going to gain a little, and the cost is probably about the same. But if you can increase your download speed, you will get more sales, you will get better search engine results, and your bounce rate will improve. Less people will people get bored waiting for a site to download, and they click their back button and go away. that will help get rid of that. So some actions you could take that would help your download speed is to test your website speed at webpagetest.org. Make sure you choose the server nearest to your location. Now I'm going to talk about WordPress a bit. Not everybody has a WordPress site, but it's the most popular platform on the internet these days. If you have a WordPress site, get a fast WordPress theme. There's slow ones and there's fast ones. Make sure yours is fast. Use the fewest number of plugins possible. Plugins slow down your website. And if you have any unused plugins, make sure you get rid of those, because those too slow down your website. You can optimize your images. Some of the image files take really a long time to download, and they will slow down your website a lot. So there's a website called tinypng.com, and it's a free tool. You can make your images look the same, but they're way smaller. Typically, you can lose 75 to 80% of the file size. I'm going to give you an example of an SEO success story. We have a client that's a cabin rental agency. They're in a mountainous area of the USA. I'm not going to say their name because I don't want a whole bunch of people contacting them, but if you would really like to know, I'm not afraid to tell you their name. Just contact me after. They face a lot of competition. There are 35,000 cabins for rent in that area. When we started working with them, they were not in the top 50 search results of any relevant keyword. In the beginning, they had 9 pages of content. They were getting 1,200 website sessions per month. That's like 1,200 visitors. And they were getting about 6,300 page views per month. Now, the same month, some years later, they have 254 pages. They have 10,000 sessions per month and 31,000 page views per month. There's a dramatic increase. Also, Google has favored their website. They're at the top or second result in most of the relevant searches for the best keywords in that area. And the occupancy, they went from the low 40% to the high 90%. It makes a huge difference, made a gigantic difference to their business. So the idea is to become a resource website for the area. They answered every question one of their guests might ask. They described the hiking trails. They talked about shopping in the area. They talked about the national parks in the area. They described the attractions fully. They added a blog for news and updated things like, hey, we renovated one of our cabins or something like that. They created one page for one article that was on one theme or keyword. Just think, if your website was 254 pages, what would it contain? That's a tough question to answer, but a valuable one. Here's some content pitfalls. It must be original content. You cannot copy and paste content from another website. If you do, not only would that not help you, but Google will likely impose a penalty. If you want to test for duplicate content, you can do so at copyscape.com. It's a free tool. There's also a paid version. If you're less than 15% duplication, that should be okay, but there's no guarantee. If it's purely original content, that's the best. Another tool, you can test your own content against other websites in terms of volume and that sort of thing. It's a website called siteliner.com. Again, these are all in a document that you can download. So let's talk about reviews, because those are also very important to your business and very important to your search engine results. So there's some problems with reviews. There's fake reviews. We've had a lot of clients gather a large number of reviews and have them just suddenly mysteriously disappear. That happened to us. It can be, or sometimes, your disgruntled ex-employees could write a review. Anyway, there is a way around to take more control of your reviews. Again, there's an organization called schema.org, which has a way to write code that you could take a testimonial and turn it into a 5-star review on your own website. So you have control over that review. And it's not going to go away. So just to recap, the actions that you'd need to take to improve your website are: complete a technical audit. I would strongly recommend you start with screamingfrog.com I think I wrote that wrong. I think it's screamingfrog.co.uk. Sorry about that. Create a content strategy. So what head keywords would you focus on? What long tail keywords would you focus on? You can do some keyword research and create a content strategy for that. You need to get inbound links for your website. You need to call on your suppliers and see if they can put a link to your website. Check out your competitors' links and see where they are getting websites. See if you can get one from there. If you're a writer, start writing some articles about your area and put them on a travel website or the BHA blog. I would strongly recommend that you make use of that opportunity. Clean up your citations across the internet. Do some searches, like I said, for old business names, addresses, and phone numbers and see what you find. Get your webmaster to create your own address on your own website written in schema.org code. Test your website speed at webpagetest.org. That's an important, how fast is your website? That's very important. Optimize your website images at tinypmg.com because that's going to help speed up your website. You can test for duplicate content at copyscape.com. You can test your existing content at siteliner.com. It's going to tell you how you fare against other similar types of websites. And you can get your webmaster to create reviews, again, using schema.org code. You can turn a testimonial into a review, put it on your website, and keep it there forever. The crash course summary, SEO crash course summary. If your website, these are the goals that you might want to have for your website. If your website becomes a resource for your industry or your area, Google is going to reward you. In order to do that, you have to have compelling and interesting and informative content, but it also has to be comprehensive, which means cover every topic that you can imagine. If your website is lightning fast, Google will reward you, and people will reward you with new business. Your sales will improve, your leads will improve, your bounce rate will improve, and your search engine position will improve. If your website has no technical issues, Google will reward you. So you can't have broken links or page title or description tag issues or keyword problems. It won't get you to the top, but it won't hold you back. And if your website is technically perfect, Google will reward you. So if your website does not have great content, is not very fast, or has some technical issues, then the only chance you have is to get links and citations. You focus on link building, focus on citation building, and focus on citation cleaning up your messy citations that are all through the internet. For the Belize Hotel Association, because of this webinar, I'd like to offer 15% off our technical services which is the website speed improvement or SEO technical optimization packages that we have available. We'll make this offer available to BHA members until June 1st. You can download this offer as well, so you don't have to write any of this URLs down or anything. You can download the offers at the right side of your page. That's it for me. My name is Alan Myers. I'm with Pinnacle Marketing Management, and if you needed to contact me, if you had any questions, please let me know or post your questions now, and Angela will get them to me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Allen, for that excellent presentation. You definitely touched on the key points for SEO, and I hope that everyone watching learned something useful from this. Again, Pinnacle Marketing is offering an 8% discount for their technical services. You can click the file that I published at the bottom of your screen on the right-hand side. And if you're interested, you can also click the offer that I published. And thank you all for attending this webinar. The following webinar is scheduled for May 31st, and the topic will be Blogging, the Art of Storytelling by Larry Witt from Belize Hub. You can click this offer to register for it early. Also, if your company produces blogs, don't forget to submit them to Alicia for BHA's new blogging site. I believe that you heard some of the benefits for submitting blogs to other websites and getting that link back. So, Alicia, can you give us some more details on that?
I'm sorry, Angela, for some reason, the static. Could you repeat?
Oh, I was asking about the blogging site. Any details for next month theme?
Yes. So next month theme is honeymoon and destination. So for the month of May, I'm asking all our members if they can send in one blog, describing well, if people can they can do in regards to like honeymoon destination at your resort, and send that in to me, and make sure to also log on for our next webinar. That is, as Angela mentioned, with Mr. Larry Witt, and that will be on blogging.
Yes. All right. So if there aren't any questions so far, the webinar for today is going to end. Thank you, Mr. Allen, again for your wonderful presentation, and thank you,
Yes,
Alicia,
Mr.
for hosting
Allen.
it.
Thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
for the opportunity. I appreciate that.
All
You're
right then.
welcome.
All
So
right.
we'll see you on May 31st for blogging with Mr. Larry Ray.
All right. Take care. Goodbye.
Goodbye.